Jennifer and Christina Beard never imagined they would have to fight for their lives against the one person who was supposed to love them the most. Their own mother, Celeste Beard, was not just dangerous, she was deadly. To the outside world, she was a devoted wife and a caring mother. But behind closed doors, her lies, manipulation, and greed led to a horrifying crime. She thought she had fooled everyone. She thought she had won. But she never expected her daughters to fight back. How do you stop a monster when that monster is your own mother? A family living with a lurking threat. Jennifer and Christina Beard were just two young girls trying to live a normal life. They had no idea their mother was capable of something so evil. Celeste had married Steve Beard, a wealthy man who gave her everything. He was a kind and generous husband, providing a life of luxury for Celeste and the twins. On the surface, everything seemed perfect, but underneath, something was very wrong. Celeste was not like other mothers. She did not show affection or warmth. Instead, she was controlling, manipulative, and always hungry for more. After marrying Steve, the money started flowing. Fancy clothes, expensive jewelry, designer handbags, Celeste bought anything she wanted. But no matter how much she spent, it was never enough. Jennifer and Christina started noticing strange things. Their mother would whisper on the phone late at night. She would disappear for hours without saying where she was going. And worst of all, Steve, the man who had taken them in as his own, seemed weaker every day. The twins did not know it yet, but the danger was much closer than they realized. Her love was never real. Celeste never loved Steve Beard. To her, he was just a bank account, not a husband. The moment she married him, she started spending his money without a second thought. In just a short time, she had burned through over $500,000. It was not just shopping. She gambled, partied, and threw money at anything that made her feel powerful. Steve started noticing. He tried to cut back on her spending, but Celeste was always one step ahead. She found another way to control him: drugs. The twins watched as their stepfather's health declined. He was constantly drowsy, barely able to stay awake. Jennifer and Christina did not understand why, but the truth was terrifying. Celeste had been drugging him. Then, something unexpected happened. Celeste had a violent breakdown. She was screaming, crying, completely out of control. To keep up appearances, she checked herself into a psychiatric hospital. That is where she met Tracy Tarleton. Tracy was everything Celeste needed: weak, lonely, and desperate for love. Celeste had found the perfect pawn, and with that, her deadly plan truly began. A manipulated killer is created. Tracy Tarleton had no idea what she was walking into when she met Celeste Beard. She thought she had found someone who understood her, someone who cared. But Celeste did not care about Tracy. She only cared about what she could get from her. Celeste spun a web of lies, telling Tracy that Steve was abusive. She painted herself as the helpless victim, stuck in a marriage with a man who hurt her. Tracy believed every word. Over time, Celeste pushed further, twisting the truth to make Tracy see Steve as a monster. She told her there was only one way to fix things. On the night of October 2, 1999, Tracy Tarleton followed Celeste's plan. She entered the Beard home, walked to the bedroom, and pulled the trigger. Steve Beard was shot in his sleep. Celeste acted shocked. She rushed to the hospital, pretending to be the devastated wife. But behind her tears, she was celebrating. She thought she had gotten exactly what she wanted. But things were far from over. She thought she got away with it. Celeste Beard was good at pretending. While Steve fought for his life in the hospital, she acted like the heartbroken wife. She cried for the nurses, put on a show for the media, and made sure everyone believed she had nothing to do with it. But Jennifer and Christina started noticing things that did not add up. Their mother was not sad. She was spending money like crazy. New clothes, new cars, even more shopping than before. It was like she was celebrating. Steve survived the shooting, but he was weak. He tried to tell the twins something was wrong. He knew Celeste was behind it. Before he could do anything, his health took a sudden turn. Just a few months later, he was dead. Celeste thought she had won. She had his fortune, and the only person who could point the finger at her was gone. She believed she had fooled everyone. But Jennifer and Christina were paying attention. They started piecing things together. Then, they made a discovery that changed everything. Their mother was not done killing. She was planning something even worse. Her own daughters are next. Jennifer and Christina knew something was off about their mother, but nothing could have prepared them for what they discovered next. Celeste was not just satisfied with Steve's death. She was already thinking about her next victims. And this time, it was them. The twins overheard chilling conversations. Their mother talked about needing to get rid of them. Then, they found something even worse. Celeste had bought 2 pink coffins. Their own mother was preparing for their deaths before they had even happened. Celeste's temper was growing worse by the day. One minute, she would shower the twins with affection. The next, she would fly into a violent rage, smashing things and screaming threats. Jennifer and Christina knew they had to leave. If they stayed, they would not survive. They took what little money they had and disappeared. Paying only in cash, they moved from motel to motel, always looking over their shoulders. They knew their mother would not stop searching. Every day, she called, left messages, and tried to track them down. The fear was constant. Jennifer later admitted, "If she finds us, we're dead." They had lost their stepfather, and now their own lives were at risk. But Celeste had underestimated them. They were done running. It was time to fight back. The moment that changed everything. Celeste Beard always believed she could outsmart anyone. She had lied, manipulated, and convinced others to do her dirty work. But now she faced a courtroom full of people who saw her for what she really was. The trial was brutal. Jennifer and Christina stood before a jury, reliving the horror of their mother's actions. They spoke of the manipulation, the fear, and the threats. The courtroom fell silent as recordings of Celeste's chilling words played. Then came the final blow, Tracy Tarleton's testimony. She detailed how Celeste had sobbed to her, calling Steve a monster. How she begged her to do something. How she made her believe that killing him was the only way to protect her. Celeste remained stone-faced, even laughing at times. But when the jury returned, her mask finally cracked. Guilty, Celeste Beard was convicted of capital murder. Jennifer and Christina had won, but their victory came at the cost of losing the person who was supposed to love them most. She didn't expect this betrayal. Celeste Beard always thought she was the smartest person in the room. She had fooled so many, lied her way out of trouble, and convinced others to do her dirty work. But now, she faced something she could not control, a courtroom full of people who saw right through her. The trial was brutal. Jennifer and Christina had to relive every painful memory, standing in front of a jury and exposing their mother's cruelty. They described the abuse, the manipulation, the fear. They played recordings of her threats, her cold, calculating words echoing through the courtroom. Then came the final blow, Tracy Tarleton's testimony. She walked the jury through every moment of the murder. How Celeste cried to her, claiming Steve was a monster. How she begged her to do something. How she made her believe that killing Steve was the only way to protect her. Celeste sat there, stone-faced. She did not cry. She did not beg for mercy. At times, she even laughed. But that cold, emotionless mask finally cracked when the jury returned with their verdict, guilty. Celeste Beard was convicted of capital murder. Jennifer and Christina had won, but it was the most painful victory of their lives. The final goodbye to a monster. Celeste was sentenced to 2 consecutive 40-year prison terms. She would not be eligible for parole until she was 79. The woman who had terrorized her own daughters would spend the rest of her life behind bars. For the first time in years, Jennifer and Christina could finally breathe. But there was still one person they needed to face, Tracy Charlton. When they met, Tracy broke down in tears. She apologized over and over, telling them how sorry she was for taking their father away. And surprisingly, the twins did not feel hatred. They felt something else, sympathy. Tracy had been another one of their mother's victims. As time passed, life moved forward. Jennifer focused on healing, while Christina started a family of her own. They had survived the worst kind of betrayal, but they refused to let it define them. Celeste had tried to destroy them, but in the end, they were stronger than she ever imagined. Their greatest revenge? Living happy, fulfilled lives without her. Their story is a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is the one closest to you. Their courage led to justice, but the scars of what they endured will last a lifetime. If you want more true crime stories like this one, make sure to subscribe.